So I was already uploading this video. I redid this video for the Economist cover because I found a few other things that nobody else is mentioning whatsoever at all. And I found a few other things that people are completely mislabeling 100%. And I think it matters. But I left one thing out of this, so I'm going to re-record this entire 26-minute video just to put in this one 30-second thing because it matters. This all matters. I mean, this is taking up an enormous amount of time, but it is what it is. You guys deserve it. Here we go.
Here is to...
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 25th. It's November. It's 2024. And I'm going to do another take a look-see at this Economist cover because there's a lot of things on this that didn't make sense to me or didn't come to me until I looked at it again. Now, I've watched a bunch of other YouTubers or other content creators, I guess that's what we're called, make videos on this, and nothing's enlightened me, you know what I mean? I've heard people talk about this thing giving them hologram vibes, which I don't even understand what that means. I've heard people call this nose right here. You see the eyes, the nose, the mouth right there? I've heard them call the nose a mushroom cloud, which doesn't make any sense at all because whatever, I don't know. But here's some things I have noticed that I think I should be making another video on. First of all, let me point out a couple of things I did not notice originally because I went over it very, very quickly. You know what I'm saying? First of all, Trump's in the middle, okay? Trump's in the middle. Saturn is at the very, very top. And like I told you, in 2025, Saturn will lose its rings, according to experts. I mentioned that in the first video, but I'm going to mention it again because it's germane, because maybe someone didn't see the first video. But in 2025, for the first time I've ever heard of ever, Saturn will appear. It will appear. It'll be, from your point of view, it will appear that Saturn will lose its rings. The popular conception of Saturn is virtually inseparable from its majestic rings. But in a little over a year, this was written a year ago, skywatchers won't be able to see these iconic structures in 2025. Saturn's rings will be invisible from Earth for several months. So I mentioned that in the first video. I'm mentioning it again. Saturn, absolutely, to these guys, the World Economic Forum, the Bilderberg, Davos, all these guys, Saturn, and biblically, Saturn is considered Satan. Satan losing its rings, to me, is Satan being unchained. Okay? It's early, so give me a break. Saturn being unchanged, being released. And then over here, you see the clock. The clock has been reset. If you remember, in 2024, we saw the same Economist cover, but time was running out. But in the new one, the clock has been turned over. So Satan will have his time. And we know this. We all know this, okay? So there you go. Also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of this whole collage right here, 7 of these items are highlighted in red. They're outlined in red, okay? So that means these guys are the major players. To this right here, a lot of people are equating this to Russia. I'm seeing this as uprising because that's what it's always meant. Uprising, straight up. You know what I mean? Let me double check here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay, 7. 7. 7's a very heavy-duty biblical number. You know what I'm saying? Now, also, around this entire thing, you're seeing bricks everywhere. Bricks, brick wall, brick wall. Donald Trump, we're going to build the wall. We're going to make America great again. You've got the bricks, and then you've also got fencing. You see what I'm saying? Bricks everywhere and fences. Well, that could be many things, but I'm going to say probably has something to do with this, I would imagine, because this is from MSN, Microsoft Network, and it's the end of the dollar. BRICS announces 2025 plans. What happens to the US dollar now? Do you see what these guys have done? They've completely sold us straight down the river. They took everything that made America great, they bought it up, they sent it off to another country, and left us with giant areas of open nothingness, and then they flooded the country with drugs. They absolutely decimated the United States in my lifetime, and that's amazing to me. But in my honest opinion, and from what I can see, that's what BRICS is two-tiered. Donald Trump's wall to keep everybody in, and the BRICS nation, which would explain this entire kerfuffle. But you got to remember this. You can't forget this. You got to remember this 100%. These guys are all friends. These guys are all friends. Everybody that's pictured here are all friends. They all go to the same places. They're all in this together. You know what I'm saying? This is all complete and utter political theater. It's not all by coincidence. It's not all circumstantial, etc. I don't know why they allowed Donald Trump to get into office, because they could have stopped it. You know what I'm saying? Because they can cheat completely. Because I'll tell you a secret. Nobody voted for Biden by that landslide whatsoever at all. Biden was it was absolute proof positive that they can completely 100% control the voting. But I guess maybe it was so overwhelming, or the better plan was what we're seeing right now. I've talked to several different YouTubers that you know that are Christians, and we've all come to the same conclusion. Everybody is under a strong delusion right now, because everyone somehow believes that Donald Trump is here. He's here for America. He's here to make America great again. He's secretly somehow no longer a billionaire. He's one of us. I said this his first go around, and people didn't seem to get it. This guy straight up claims that he was the father of the vaccine.
Big Pharma ran millions of dollars of negative advertisements against me during the campaign, which I won, by the way, but, we'll find that out. Almost 74 million votes. We had Big Pharma against us. We had the media against us. We had Big Tech against us. We had a lot of dishonesty against us. But Big Pharma alone ran millions and millions of dollars in ads. In fact, I looked at it, I said, who is it? I've never seen anything quite like it, because I told them I'm going to have to do this. I was put here to do a job. And Pfizer and others were way ahead on vaccines. You wouldn't have a vaccine if it weren't for me for another 4 years, because FDA would have never been able to do what they did, what I forced them to do. And Pfizer and others even decided to not assess the results of their vaccine. In other words, not come out with a vaccine until just after the election. That's because of what I did with favored nations and these other elements.
He also made sure that nobody could sue. He didn't stop that, where nobody could sue if something bad happened, like perhaps you had a stroke, you had unbelievably clogged arteries all of a sudden, you had heart conditions, or you died. He made sure that none of that was an issue for Big Pharma. So everything he's telling you, he's reading right off that piece of paper. Everybody makes fun of all the other guys because they need teleprompters. Let me tell you a secret. I'm making a video off the top of my head. I'm simply hitting the button and I'm talking because I'm passionate about this. He can't say a complete sentence without looking down. I mean, come on, man. It's ridiculous. And real quick, let me show you one other thing that I missed previously. The end of the dollar, because Trump is going to be the Bitcoin president. Remember, that's what he said. That's what we're going to do. I love my people, this, that, and the other thing. I'm not a Christian. I love, you don't have to vote. Notice on Microsoft Network's channel where they're showing the end of the dollar, BRICS announces 2025 plans. Notice they just couldn't help but put 666 right there. That's not a coincidence. And here's another thing. When they talk about Bitcoin, some people are deluded. I've never once gone for it, ever. Not ever. And as a content creator, you can sell things called meme coins to your subscribers and make tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've never done that, and I've been approached 3 separate times. I won't mess with it because Bitcoin is not some anti-government thing. Don't believe me? Listen to the guy that, I guess, created it.
But the main reason I'm here is to clear my name that I have nothing to do with Bitcoin, nothing to do with developing. I was just an engineer doing something else.
Okay.
And if you look at the time span, 2001, when it was supposed to be developed, I wasn't there. I was working for the government through a contracting company. That's not me.
Okay.
I never communicated with Bitcoins.
Okay.
Leah wrote all this?
Yeah.
2010 to 2000. I was at home.
Okay.
I wasn't working for anybody.
Okay.
I just believe that somebody put that fictitious name in there.
Mm-hmm.
Satoshi Nakamoto and Bitcoin, or Bitcoin.
Do you think?
Market sell-off, but not for XRP. It is exploding toward the $1 mark. Right now, it stands at 87 cents. This is a gain of 4.5%, as investors in the seventh largest cryptocurrency are optimistic about the future of the now $3 trillion industry under a Trump presidency. The blockchain payments company Ripple, which uses XRP to enable transactions, jumped dramatically since election night. And it saw big surges earlier this week on speculation that its CEO held a meeting with the president-elect following his victory, and speculation that anti-crypto SEC chief Gary Gensler might soon announce his resignation, which we just talked about with former SEC director 𝗏𝗵𝗿𝗃.
Now, I'm not going to play all of this, but you can simply look it up. Trump is absolutely embracing, if not completely pushing, Bitcoin on everybody. It's a trap. It's a trick. And that's shown pretty heavily, or it's intimated very heavily in the Economist cover. It doesn't outright say it, but it should be pretty obvious. Sorry. You see what I'm saying? At any rate, that's what I wanted to interject into this video. I might do it again, but I doubt it, because this is going to be a long video. Here we go. But somehow, suddenly, Christians think that this guy is on our side. He's an open, proud Zionist. He puts Israel first. His allegiance to Israel is first and foremost, okay? For those of you that might be new, Israel are not the Israelites from the Bible, okay? Israel is occupied currently by the people that were mentioned in the Bible as the synagogue of Satan. You see?
Should immediately apologize for the reckless anti-vaccine rhetoric that they are talking right now, talking about endangering lives, and it undermines science.
Donald Trump, he's a Zionist. Donald Trump is Israel first. Israel first. And Trump is just a pawn like everybody else. They put him in place right now so that the entire Q thing could come up, so people would think that Trump was playing 4D chess and was working with Delta Force and all these other special operations guys. They knew too many people were waking up. So with all the censorship, with the American people waking up, they put Trump in place. They did it because that would give people that may possibly stand up, get off their asses, put down their remote controls, and start saying, wait a minute, we're losing our country rapidly. They put Trump into place and then insert or interject QAnon, the same psychological operations departments of the military, that they put Q into place to think it. So everyone thinks that everything's good to go, nothing to worry about, let it ride. Trump has this. Okay, this is kind of a funny story. I tried to find my video on Donald Trump as a Zionist, where he's literally praying at the Wailing Wall. He's talking about all the awards he's received from his Jewish friends, etc. And I found this one, and it was only 1:33 long, so I figured I would use it. And ironically enough, I'm in it. That's strange, because I don't know who this dude is, but I'm going to subscribe. So there you go. So Trump is not on our side whatsoever at all. So putting him in there did actually work, because I'm watching people that I thought knew what was up, people that I thought were quote unquote awake, somehow believing that Donald Trump is he's going to fix things. He's not. He's not at all. So I don't understand that. But here's one thing I want to mention. A lot of people are calling this is the Chinese yuan. This symbol right here, it's not an upside down, it's Chinese yuan, and it's showing it going down. And these arrows, I don't know. I can't, you can't really speak on them because you can't really tell what they are exactly. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely shows what their intentions are. Okay, now that I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, people are talking about the Chinese yuan. The Chinese yuan is being shown with a arrow right next to it. Because if the American dollar tanks, the yuan tanks. It has to, because we owe trillions to them. You see what I'm saying? And then the other thing I didn't see originally is the ones and zeros down here, the binary code, computer code going up. That would be cryptocurrency, because the dollar will be gone. And if you have money in the bank, I don't know what to tell you guys. Seriously, turn it into gold and silver right now and have it sent to your house. Don't leave it in one of their IRAs or one of their 401ks backed up by your gold and silver. Take those ones and zeros out of the bank, turn it into gold and silver, and have it sent so you have it. So when this crash, that is absolutely without a doubt going to happen, as you can see, you'll at least have something other than just lead to trade with your neighbors. Do you see what I'm saying? That's all I can tell you. I mean, seriously. I don't know how it's all going to work, but if everything you've ever had is sitting in the bank and the bank crashes, you're done. If everything you ever had, at least half of it, is turned into gold and silver, you have gold and silver. Gold and silver is required for everything. It'll always, always have value. Period. And that's all I'm going to say. Right here, I would tie this. I would tie these things right up here. This, and this. I would tie these right to this.
Well, Elon Musk's Neuralink has received Canadian approval to launch its first clinical trial designed to give paralyzed individuals the ability to use digital devices simply by thinking.
We are specifically looking for patients who are paralyzed, who have severe weakness as a consequence of a spinal cord injury or of having ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. So these are people that are very impaired with their arms and legs, cannot move them. What we hope to do is to implant this chip to record the neurons from their hand motor area, which control movements, and to use the signals from those neurons to then drive a cursor on a computer. And so they'll be able to navigate a cursor and they'll be able to click.
And as usual, they're saying, we need people that are disabled. Send us your young disabled or your elderly disabled, and we'll somehow figure out a way to fix them with the Neuralink. And yet, in the beginning, he told us that the Neuralink was so that people, the neural lace, that's what it's called, lace, not link. The neural lace was for keeping up with AI. Nothing more, nothing less. I covered this, I don't know how many times, going all the way back to 2015. And it's funny because Trump and Elon are just rolling together now. We have two billionaires at the head of the ship. And it's funny how people think that this Doge, Office of Government Efficiency, it's not real. It's not real. So let's just let go of that right off the rip. And then, of course, you've got missiles, long-range ballistic missiles right next to the vaccine, right next to the radioactive sign, right next to the radioactive sign up here. You see what they're threatening World War III. They're threatening a nuclear war. I don't particularly believe in nuclear weapons, because if you go to Nagasaki or Hiroshima, they're both thriving. Because this is what Hiroshima looks like today. It's thriving. It's full of, they've got lots and lots of evidence that the place got smoked. We firebombed them. You know what I mean? We firebombed them. That's easy to see, but everybody still lives there. The place is literally filled with tourists that are going there, and American businesses, Starbucks and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe in that. That's not my thing. I do believe we have massive weapons, because I've stood there as they were being tested. I've seen this happen in real life, but they're just really, really big bombs. So there's that. But the fact that they've already put the nuclear word out there, they could blow up a bunch of stuff and then just tell you to stay in your house because there's too much radiation outside. As long as you close your doors and windows, you'll be safe. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like a game plan? Yeah, I hear you. But here's the biggest one right here. Here's the biggest one. Now let me pull up a Simpsons clip because The Simpsons is just like the Economist cover. They show us things years before it happens because these guys are playing the long game, the long game. They've been working on this plan. We're just in and out of their plan. Their plan's been going on long before we were here, and it'll probably go on long before we're after because, as you can see right here, they've got time now. And 2024, time was running out. Time was almost up. But apparently it's been rebooted now, and Donald Trump is right at the center. You see what I'm saying? Public perception of him has gone way up. 2016, then it was trouble, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's back in business again, folks. But let me show you this clip real quick.
Sir, I'm afraid we already overamped on that outlet. Well, I'll overamp you.
All right, everyone, get out your remembrance candles. Granny Lisa, why do we light a candle every Thanksgiving? In remembrance of the great blackout that almost destroyed our town when we actually had to write things down by hand. It started on a cold November day, back when you could actually see snow outside of a museum. 11? This isn't supposed to happen.
Goodbye, autumn. Hello, November. A powerful winter storm is headed our way.
Maybe it's the calm before the storm. What's the storm? Could be the calm before the storm.
What storm, Mr. President?
You'll find out.
I refuse to be scared unless there's some terrifying new term for it. It's an Arctic blast with a bomb cyclone and a chance of firenado. Or as we in the news business call it, an Arctic-onado.
None of us call it that, Catch.
Pipe down, Arnie. I'm selling hoodies.
Storms are coming. Light switch! Huh? Why do people keep doing that?
Blackout dates.
The blackout? Great blackout. We had no power and no pro...
I always thought them using The Simpsons was brilliant because if you try to tell somebody 9/11 was an inside job because it was on The Simpsons, they're going to look at you like you're an absolute asshat. But it's true. It's entirely true. And something that I missed on the first Economist cover was this. You see this right here? I didn't even notice this, and nobody's mentioned this. Here's an entire city. Notice there's absolutely zero lights. Zero lights. And I find that really strange because The Simpsons do talk about an enormous storm that was coming before this happened. Well, coincidentally enough, this Thanksgiving...
All right, my friends, welcome back. Happy Monday, if there is such a thing. We're taking a look at some of the stuff from yesterday and the potential nor'easter we're expecting here in the Northeast for Thanksgiving. Many people reaching out to me once again claiming of headaches, not feeling well, dizziness, all sorts of things like that. And all I had to do was check the satellite charts and boom, right in your faces once again. St. Louis, specifically in Missouri, of course, leading all the way up to the Great Lakes, completely covered in these lines. Now, what I find interesting is how we saw this leading up to a potential nor'easter in the U.S. We just finished with our first major snowstorm of the season here in the Northeast, and now right after it seems, within a couple days, we're now going to be dealing with another weather situation that was seemingly being prepared all day yesterday through today, and now we are about 72 hours away from that low-pressure system beginning to peak up in the Northeast and the Great Lakes once again. But
Blast with a bomb cyclone and a chance of firenado.
And ironically, we just had a bomb cyclone, just like he was talking about, and Wyoming and other parts up there are still on fire. So, I mean, it's really, I don't want to say funny, but everything he talked about is actually happening in real life right now. But on that, I will digress. So are they going to do this? Are they going to knock out the power? Well, I just find it strange that they're talking about a massive storm on The Simpsons before Thanksgiving, and then they lost their power. And we're watching them manufacture this. I mean, look at the chemtrails. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's entirely being pushed on the NEXRAD radar. They're blowing the sky up with all of these chemtrails. And right on the very cover, right underneath Saturn, right above Trump, right next to the yuan, blackout. So I'm currently mobile, as I often am, and a blackout on Thanksgiving would affect me greatly, as it would affect everybody. But I'm out in the desert area right now, so we'll see what happens. But I need this right here was the entire point of me making this video all over again, because I missed that. Everybody missed that. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Now, am I telling you to be afraid? I mean, are we afraid, or are we just jaded at this point? Because we've seen so many things come and go. We've seen so many things come and go. We saw Sandy Hook, where a child died not only once. The poor kid got shot to death at Sandy Hook by a madman that no one ever saw before. And then the poor kid got stabbed to death in Pakistan in another school stabbing. I mean, it's unbelievable. Died twice. Unreal. We saw an airplane completely go through the Twin Tower building on the news, only for that entire thing to get scrubbed. We've seen so many of these things, and we've been warning you and warning you and warning you, and people are just tired because we all have the attention span of a goldfish. It's why when I make videos, I'll start talking about something and I'll completely forget, because I don't use a script. I'm simply talking to you. You know what I mean? But this right here is huge. You need to be prepared for this and understand one thing. See these little guys that I love so much, I've got so many of? Every flashlight is now LED, which means it can be taken out with an EMP. You know what I'm saying? So if you've got flashlights or things of this nature, or anything electrical, put it in a Faraday cage, or at least wrap it up in 5 layers of aluminum foil, because that does actually work. The YouTuber Manyfish, Keith, himself and his wife actually make Faraday pouches, and they gave me some. And because I was only home for such a short period of time, I completely forgot to make a video on them. But aluminum foil will do the trick. And I really, truly believe they're going to do this because of this. This just popped up a couple of days ago. And, once again, Governor Abbott, everybody thinks that he's on our side. He's not. He's playing his part, because if he wasn't playing his part, he'd be gone. Period. That's all there is to it. But he's talking about all this executive order, and he's going out there and he's going to arrest all these CCP guys, Republic of China, North Korea, Iran, Cuba, Russian Federation, Venezuelan people, blah, blah, blah. And their entire thing is these guys are set up so that they can cause disruption to our electrical grid. We have the weakest electrical grid in the world. It's unbelievable. And that's been like that by design. So these guys are probably going to knock out the power. They're going to do it at some point, but are they going to do it on Thanksgiving? I don't see any indication of that other than what the Simpsons tell us. And I know it's ridiculous to even say that. I'll be 57 in 2 days, and I'm talking about a cartoon predicting the future of the United States of America. And if you look at this, there's a couple of pictures of the world. There's the North and South America, and then there's the other side of the world. Now, I know, it's not a globe, but I'm describing what I'm seeing here. So, North, South America, Africa, Russia, Asia, etc. And then up here you have a picture. I'm going to guess that's the moon. It has to be the moon. And something really strange has been going on with the moon lately, where people are saying it's much brighter. People have seen 2 moons. I put up a video about somebody that actually saw 2 moons. And this person wasn't looking for clout or fame. They were just posting something they couldn't believe. They were seeing something with their own 2 eyes and the camera that shouldn't be. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. God never intimated if those signs were going to be something about mankind messing with the sun, moon, and stars. He just said, watch the sun, moon, and stars. And I do. I have a camera pointed at the sky every place that I'm at. And every single night, there's all sorts of wacky little things. Look at this fella right here. Always all sorts of things up there just cruising around. And people are going to say, they're airplanes, they're satellites. Well, here's the funny part about that. I know what an airplane looks like, believe it or not. Believe it or not, I Googled it to find out what an airplane, that's sarcasm. That's not an airplane. That is not a satellite, because that is in very, very low orbit. It's right above me. I can see it all day, every day. And as a matter of fact, I recently just started posting these on my Facebook page. If you're so inclined, you can pop over there, and I'm posting these things so you can check and see if you come up with anything unidentified in the sky. Because I've got hours and hours of this footage, but I don't have hours and hours of time to go over it. But this is what they're telling us right here. We're seeing a lot of blood. This looks like blood work to me right here. I'm not sure. We're seeing a lot of arrows going straight down, straight down, straight down. This one right here, I believe, has to do with Trump's popularity, 2016, and all sorts of trouble, and then coming back again. This one right here, I don't understand. This woman is a big-time member of the feminist movement. To be honest, I don't care about that currently, because I think we've got bigger fish to fry, but they will play a part, whatever. Putin, Trump, the world, Satan, uprising, arrows going up. And I mean, all of these are outlined in red. This does have a red outline, but only on one side, so I'm not going to count that. The BRICS nations, the fencing, that's not good. Whenever you got fences around you, that just isn't good. And this just looks like plasma to me right here, and a nuclear bomb going off. At any rate, that's what I've come up with. If you see anything else, leave it in the comments below. If you're on BitChute, go over to Rumble. Go to Richie from Boston TV. Go to my Twitter. Go to my Facebook. You can comment anywhere you want. Go over to jail. Don't comment on Jailbreak unless it's applicable. But I don't allow comments on BitChute because BitChute gets insane. I don't need people looking at hardcore pornography when they're supposed to be watching a video that's based in Christianity. At any rate, I think that's all I got. Going down, going down, going down. So real quick, I might have already said this, but I don't remember. But all these arrows going down are the dollar, our economy, everything else. This right here, I would imagine, is Bitcoin going up, because it already is, because of this guy right here in the center. But on that, I will digress. And I mean, the electric car, I already talked about that. Here's the other fun fact. This always makes me think of this. When I look at this, the first thing that pops into my head, when I look at this, the first thing I think of is this, where Israel allegedly just blew up a bunch of people with pagers that they were already carrying. Well, think about what we're all already carrying. We already know that they can take over your vehicle and drive your vehicle. We already know that if you have an electric vehicle, they can overheat it. It's astonishing to me how many people are going for these electric cars. Do a crumb of research. The manufacture and the upkeep of an electric car creates far more pollution than a gasoline car does all day, every day, let alone mining the lithium and all the people they have to kill in order to get to this lithium. You know what I'm saying? But lithium, if you've got an electric car, they've got you 16 different ways to Sunday. They can just take you out. And this right here, I think I already mentioned this, voting's over with. And we heard that from, well, we heard this from him. Remember this one?
Everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You gotta get out and vote. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You gotta get out and vote.
You heard what he said. If you voted for him, you'll never have to vote again. You'll never have to vote again. And this, I'm sure, is just more of the same. This will probably be the vaccine to save you from nuclear radiation, which is probably why it's sitting right below here. That just came to me. I don't know. But this is it right here, all the way around. BRICS nations building the wall around us, fencing us in, uprising. I don't know if there's too much else to say. I mean, because everything is just basically supposition. But that one right there, that's exactly why I made this video all over again. At any rate, Richie from Boston. Be ready, people. Be ready. Spiritually, physically, and mentally, as much as you possibly humanly can. Ask God for guidance, and he will give it to you. I'm out.